If you're feeling really overwhelmed by the semester or by a certain course or by a certain job task you have to do, then I recommend the Pomodoro Method. And so maybe you've heard this before, but if you haven't, the Pomodoro Method is pretty simple in its basis, though you can change it depending on your own situation. So basically here, it's you do 25 minutes of work and then 5 minutes of rest. And so obviously it's a half hour total. So let's say, I'm really stressed about this certain paper I have for my ENC 1101 class. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work for 25 minutes, work on this paper, do whatever I can on it, and then take a 5 minute break, relax, maybe watch a YouTube video, maybe go, get a snack, whatever the case may be. And then you come back. Okay, I'm going to do another 25 minutes, and then I'll have a 5 minute break. And so this way you're doing it in small chunks rather than saying, okay, for 3 hours, I have to sit in my desk and write this paper. That can be really overwhelming. So think of 25 minutes, 5 minute break. Now, perhaps even 25 minutes seems like too much. You're really anxious about this assignment or it's just so much, right? Well, then lower this number. The standard is 25 and 5, but you can do 15 and 5. You can do 10 and 5, right? Whatever works best for you. And of course, the 5 can be changed too. So maybe you want to do 25 and 10, right? Or you want to do 15 and 10. Obviously, the higher the ratio, the better, right? So 25 to 5 is 5 to 1. If you do 15 to 10, then that's 3 to 2. But whatever will help you to actually get started on this assignment. And you might find there's two different ideas about how to progress. So maybe you do 25 minutes and you're on a roll, right? So some are of the mind that, okay, just keep going. So you pass 25, but just keep going until you reach a natural break and then take your 5 minutes off. Others say, well, if you do that, then maybe after the 5 minutes, you're like done. You have nothing else to say and now you're struggling for 25 minutes. So you should stop at the 25 no matter what, take your break and then go back into it. You might experiment and see which path works best for you. In my case, I keep going until I reach a natural conclusion, but you might find that doesn't work well for you. So that you can try both and see what works best. Now, as far as how to actually do the method, if you have a smartphone or a tablet or anything like that, then you should have a timer, a stopwatch built in. So in this case, it's this timer. You can say 25 minutes and click start. And it obviously starts it for you. And once you reach 25, it will ding. I recommend using the timer because if you use a stopwatch, you have to keep checking to see when you reach 25 minutes. If you use a timer, it will let you know once you reach a deadline. So you can just really focus on getting as many words on the page as you can in this example until you hear the ding, and then you take your 5 minute break. And obviously you can then move it to 5 minutes so that you get dinged as well when the break is over. The stopwatch is another option, but that means you have to keep checking, and that can be very distracting. So I don't recommend it. Okay. On the other hand, if you do want to try the keep working past 25, if you manage it, then if you do the stopwatch, you can click start and just focus. And only when you're like really, really stuck, take a quick glance at the time and you can see, okay, I'm only at 10 minutes. Keep going. All right, now let me glance at the clock. Oh, I'm at 26, but I actually have a few more sentences that I want to write. Let me keep going, right? So at that point, you're not distracted by the ding if you get in a really good groove. So again, consider your options, experiment, and see what works best for you. And then kind of one final tip. Obviously, this is built in, the timer and the stopwatch. This is my iPad. But there's also plenty of clock apps that you might consider. So in this case, this is the Zen Clock. It is free. And so I like this kind of very clean aesthetic. So I can say here, okay, well, here's the time. And then if I go here and all I did there was I swiped to the right, then I can have this element. And then I say, okay, clear it out. And now I have a timer, a stopwatch. And so obviously seconds are passing. So I can use it in the same way as the stopwatch in my built-in. But this looks a bit different. Obviously, the numbers are much bigger, and I just like how it looks. So that's one option here. And then if you swipe to the left, you'll get here, and it's a different way of doing it. So now it starts at 25, and it works its way down. This is intended to be an app to work with Pomodoro sessions. So in this case, obviously, once you hit the 4 zeros, you know your 25 minutes are up. So in the free version, it has to be 25. You'd have to pay in order to change it to, let's say, a 15-minute Pomodoro. So in that case, you would use a different app, or you can just use the one that's built in into your device. But again, this is Zen Clock. In case you do like how this looks, it is free to use in this way. And it's very simple to figure out, swipe left, swipe right, swipe down, or swipe up to see all your options. Right, so this is swiping up. As you notice here, you have the Pomodoro, and so duration is 25 minutes, okay? And you cannot change this unless you buy, right? So keep that in mind. So that's the Pomodoro method. Very simple. And again, I do think it can be really helpful if you're feeling stuck on an assignment, and just give it a try. And again, experiment with these numbers. Does 25 and 5 work for you? Or do you have to do 20 and 5? Or maybe you could do more, 35 and 5. Whatever you feel is your particular Pomodoro method.